Hi, one more time, my YouTube subscribers and my YouTube likers, okay? Thank you so much for joining me, and thanks so much for being so faithful to my channel, and your comments were so encouraging to me. Okay, I got them with a big heart. Thank you so much. Okay, so as I promised in the last video, I promised to talk about two more tenses. Okay, so in my first video I talked about the present simple and the present continuous. Okay, in this video I'm gonna talk about two more tenses, which are, this time there are two past tenses, which are the simple past and the past continuous. Okay, we will see what do these two tenses express, what they have in common, what differences exist between them, okay, and try to give you examples and illustrations about when we use them and how we use them. Okay, the first tense I'm gonna start with is the simple past. Okay, the simple past is a tense that we use to talk, okay, as it is clear from its name, to talk about past events, okay, but not any past events. So past events which are finished, okay, and which time of action is precise, is exact, okay, and we use it with expressions like last week, last September, last weekend, last I don't know, October, or expressions like yesterday, 2 weeks ago, in 2006, 2007, and so forth and so on. Okay, and when talking about the past simple, okay, and its form, let me tell you that there are two types of verbs here, the regular and the irregular verbs. Regular verbs are verbs which are regular in the past, they take the ed, like verbs like work, worked, play, played, watch, watched, and so on and so forth. Okay, so all these verbs take ed at the end. Okay, the only difference between these verbs, okay, something to mention here, is the way they are pronounced, their pronunciation. Okay, so these verbs are pronounced according to which syllable exists at the end of the word, the verb. Okay, there are some verbs which are pronounced with t, like worked, work, worked, like watch, watched, and so on and so forth. There are other verbs which are pronounced with d, like play, played, enjoy, enjoyed, and so on and so forth. Okay, there is a third category of verbs which is pronounced with an id in the end, and verbs like visit, visited. Okay, we don't say visited, it's visited. Okay, it's just something about the pronunciation of verbs that you should be aware of. As I said, the difference between regular and irregular verbs, regular verbs do take ed in the end, okay, but irregular verbs, they are irregular, as you know, and the only thing you have to do about them is to take them by heart or practice them as much as possible, because with practice you can progress in in your mastery of irregular verbs. Okay, as I said, we use the simple past to express an action in the past which is finished, okay, its time is precise, exact, and it is also short. It is not a long action, it is short. Like, for instance, when I say, yesterday I went to the supermarket, okay, so the supermarket. So here the focus is on the achievement of the action. The action was achieved yesterday. Okay, okay. And sometimes we use the simple past when we want to talk about a succession of actions in the past. For instance, like when I say yesterday or last night, when I got into my house, I had a shower, then I took my dinner and went to bed, for instance. Okay, so here we have a succession of actions in the past, okay, but all of them are achieved, their time is precise, which is last night or yesterday or whatever. Okay, the second tense I'm gonna talk about is the past continuous. Okay, so this is also a past continuous tense. So as you see that in English there are different past continuous tenses, past tenses, I'm sorry, and every one of these past tenses has a specific use. Okay, so let's take the example of the past continuous. The past continuous is a tense that we use also to talk about actions which are finished in the past, which are achieved, already achieved, okay? And their time is also precise. Like for instance, when I say yesterday from 9 to 10 I was watching TV. So the time is precise. It is yesterday. It's not another day. Okay? But the difference between this tense, the past continuous, and the past simple is that the past continuous focuses on the duration of the action. There is some duration involved there. Okay? The action took place in a period of time, like for example, when I say like the example I gave you just a few moments ago, okay, yesterday or last night from 9 to 10 I was watching TV. So watching TV here takes a long time in a way. It is one hour, okay, but this tense has a lot in common with the simple past, which is they are all past actions, all finished, all precise. But the only and the main difference between these two tenses is in terms of continuity and non-continuity metrics. Okay, so with simple past, the action does not care about continuity, but with past continuous, there is so much focus and concentration on continuity. The action continues. Okay, sometimes these two tenses, can not overlap, but can interact in some situations. For instance, when sometimes in the past an action was going on, but all of a sudden another action happened in the middle, interrupted the other action in the past. Like for example, when I say when I was doing my homework yesterday, the telephone rang. Okay. So doing homework is an action which was going on at a certain time in the past, okay? But the action of ringing of the telephone took place right in the middle of or somewhere in the middle of the action in the past, okay? So this is an instance when we have this interplay between simple past and past continuous, okay? There might be some times that we have two actions in the past, okay, which were taking place simultaneously or at the same time. Like for instance, when I say, so here, of course, we're gonna use because there is continuity involved, we're gonna use the past continuous. Like for instance, when I say, last weekend, while we were playing football, my father and mother were reading some stories. Okay, see, so here we were playing at the same time as my father and our parents were reading stories. Okay, so here the two actions in the past took place simultaneously at the same time. So these are the instances when these two tenses can interplay, as I said, can be together, involved in one situation, in one moment of speaking. Okay. These are mainly the points I'd like to clarify about these two past tenses, okay? And next time, in the next video, I'm gonna push forward another tense, which is the present perfect, okay? So the present perfect is another tense, which is also a past tense, okay? And as you might notice from its name, the present perfect, there is some present involved in the tense and some perfect involved, okay? So I'm gonna present this tense and see how much or what common it has with these tenses and how different they are, okay? And I hope that I will be successful in so doing. Okay, I think this is all for these two tenses. So as I promised before, I said in the last video, I said that I will give tenses in twos because I'd like you to make that slight differences between them and try to in a way to use them in the right place at the right time. Okay, so waiting for the next video to come, I send you my best wishes and thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for your comments, for your encouragement, okay? And thanks to your encouragements, I'll be present, I'll be giving you much more content Okay, and please, if you like the video, as usual, strike a like and subscribe if you like the channel. Okay, and I promise that I will be at your disposal. I will be presenting you with all the things you need to be successful and fluent in English. And thank you so much. Next video.